installation method. The way you trowel mortar for setting tile makes a big difference. Let's look at the way to trowel and what's an error. Porcelain tiles in particular can withstand extra heavy service conditions. It takes a lot of impact or point load to cause bond loss when installed correctly over a sound substrate. The mortar under this tile was installed using the correct trowel method. No error here. On the other hand, since tile is a hard and brittle finish or veneer, unsupported space under the tiles actually creates weak spots. That same porcelain tile may be easily damaged by the same impact, heavy loads, and other causes. Spot bonding with mortar is not recommended to set tile. It may be easier to set tiles flat to each other during the installation, but it's only a matter of time before the slightest force causes a failure. Little mortar actually comes in contact with the tile. It was easy to spot the tile that was installed correctly. The first tile was installed using the NTCA recommended ANSI standard. The others were not. Unfortunately, many tiles are being installed incorrectly, especially very large tiles, and this can result in costly breakage. So why does this happen? It's because most flooring adhesives were applied in this manner and the swirling motion was passed on. This is a more natural movement, just a simple bend of the elbow. It also didn't make much difference for flooring or very small tiles. The results of troweling this way are very misleading. You get the job done more quickly, but you can't get proper mortar coverage. Air gets trapped with nowhere to go and leaves the tile unsupported. Swirling the mortar causes voids where the tile is not bonded to the substrate. These voids can result in cracked tile and bond failure under normal use, but especially under point load or impact. In addition to impact and heavy loading, tiles set without proper mortar coverage are more likely to fail under many conditions. To name a few: substrate deflection, shrinkage or creep, thermal expansion in high temperatures, and freeze-thaw applications. A lack of perimeter or other movement joints affects well-bonded tile, so imagine when half or even less of a tile is adhered. According to the American National Standards Institute and the TCNA Handbook, tile requires a minimum of 80% mortar coverage in interior applications, 95% for exteriors and wet environments. Natural stone tile requires at least 95% coverage in all areas. Notice what happens when clear glass is installed over swirled ridges. See how hard it is to achieve the coverage required? It's impossible when you spot bond. Even beating it with a mallet won't help. With today's installations of larger and larger tile, there are other factors to consider. During the manufacturing process of most large tiles, the center tends to dome or warp upward. This warpage requires more mortar to be used, and air is even less likely to be removed when the mortar is swirled. Additional mortar applied correctly has to make up the difference. Flatter substrates are also required to successfully set